Harvey Horseradish figured he'd seen every scam and con the galaxy had to offer. He'd witnessed the tentacled card sharps of Io, the doppelganger bookies of Taris Minor, once even traded double or nothing odds with a Martian who could split himself into two losers at will. But that was before he met Crystal Talon. She strode into the Vulcan bar like she owned the gravity. By all rights, she probably did. Green-skinned, steely-eyed, and as poised as a solar storm in a planetary orbit, she cut a path right to Harvey's corner seat. He'd been minding his business, sipping a glass of neutron punch, scanning the holographic ticker above the bar for Kaiju Stargate fluctuations. Assignment from the Kaiju Elders Council, first field test, supposed to be incognito. None of that mattered to Crystal Talon. She stopped, let the heavy silence settle, then, voice like hyper-cooled plasma, asked,
"Do you have the time?"
Harvey didn't bother glancing at her sleek AI bracelet. He could hear the micro-servo whir from 3 meters. He'd seen those bracelets scrape security gates clean, slice through encrypted records like butter. They didn't just tell time, they measured everything. Pulse rates, transaction histories, even which side of the bed you preferred to sleep on. She knew the time, all right. She probably knew what he'd had for breakfast. Twice.
Time, schmime. You're barking up the wrong tree, lady.
The crowd froze. Everyone knew you didn't sass Crystal Talon in her own den. The air thickened as her nostrils flared, her eyes widened. For a moment, the universe paused to see who would blink first.
"If you don't have the time, maybe I'll give you some. In our dungeon. Take a moment in there. It might change your attitude."
She made it sound like an invitation to a poetry reading. Harvey kept his snort short, fighting the urge to collapse with giggles. It was always the same. Beautiful hitman, impossible odds, and some grand scheme about to detonate. He wondered if Crystal rehearsed these lines in the mirror. He almost admired the showmanship.
Fine. How much time do you need from me?
30 seconds.
She screeched. Then, in a blink, she flicked her wrist. A shimmering ripple crackled through the bar, and a flurry of Jedi mind leeches, wriggling and iridescent, erupted from her bracelet. The warriors closed in, rings of muscle and menace dressed in ceremonial armor, each sporting the sort of scowl you'd expect from someone forced to eat their own socks. Paddles and vibro knives glinted. Behind them, the peanut gallery whispered and giggled behind gloved hands, placing bets on the newcomer's longevity. Harvey replied, feigning confusion.
30 seconds? You're giving me too much credit.
But here's the thing about Jedi mind leeches. They're good, but ice water is better. 7 years on the Tibetan moon, meditating with monks who could outstare black holes, had taught Harvey a lot. Mostly that self-discipline was best served with a side of icy resolve. And the Kaiju Stargate didn't just take anyone. You had to know how to chill out when reality itself was screaming at you. Closing his eyes, Harvey summoned up a mental image of Lake Baikal at sunrise, the water so cold even thoughts froze. The leeches slithered into his consciousness, seeking warmth, something to latch onto. Instead, they found only the frigid expanse of an iron-willed mind. They recoiled, hissing, tumbling back into the ether with a sound like marbles dropped on glacier glass. The Vulcan warriors stopped snickering. Crystal frowned, her bravado dimming. For a heartbeat, Harvey considered returning the favor. Jedi mind tricks were his specialty, not the subtle nudge, but the full-bore mental haymaker. Unfortunately, years of monkish discipline had also imparted a grudging respect for law and order. Technically, he was still on diplomatic ground.
Time's up.
Behind him, the customs desk shimmered into existence, a floating slice of bureaucracy, draped in a living membrane that sparkled with the light of 1,000 biometric scans. The officer, briny and bug-eyed, regarded Harvey with a mixture of suspicion and amusement. No one passed into Galactic Port 3607 without running the gauntlet, especially not when Xenu was on duty. Seconds stretched. The desk gave a little cough, clearing its metaphorical throat. One of the officer's antennae twitched.
Did you enjoy your stay in the Vulcan bar?
Harvey shrugged, flicking residual psychic frost from his fingertips.
Same as always. They ask for the time. I remind them the clock ticks for everyone.
The crowd, sensing a shift in the wind, began to dissipate. The Vulcan warriors retreated, still grumbling. Crystal Talon, bested for the first time in ages, narrowed her eyes. Harvey knew he hadn't seen the last of her. He tucked his clearance papers under his arm, raised his glass in salute to the officer, and strolled through the checkpoint. Behind him, the desk exhaled, and the membrane glowed green. Harvey Horseradish might not have all the answers, but when it came to scams, mind tricks, or staring down a Vulcan in her own bar, he always had the time.